Season 4, Episode 3. We're continuing the King/Queen of the Ring tournament season as we are kicking things off with our first tag team tournament side of things here. And we have a very unlikely team here of David Studio Animations teaming up with Joe Hendry. That's right, TNA megastar Joe Hendry. I mean, only on PWS, folks, are we going to get people like David Studio and Joe Hendry teaming up, man. I mean, it's just pure insanity here. They are known as the Hitmakers, and they are going to be facing off against Ian and Anthony of Smosh. It's going to be an interesting contest here. We have a very unlikely tag team here, so we don't know how well the Hitmakers are going to do in this thing. They could do good, they could do bad. Honestly, who knows? They might be the greatest tag team of all time. We never know. We already know everything about Ian and Anthony that you need to know, of course. I mean, Anthony he's coming up hot off of last season when he made it to the final 2 in the Elimination Chamber last season. It was great because he nearly walked away with the world title in only his second match. I mean, that is something to be very proud of. Now, Ian, you know, I think Ian is still looking to get his first ever victory here, you know, last season, you know, and, you know, he didn't make it too far in a tag team match last season, if I remember correctly. You know, he was in a battle royal as well, but I don't think he really did. He didn't win that either. But regardless, Ian is still a very talented competitor regardless, you know. For his size, you know, he's incredibly quick, strong, athletic, you know, he's got what it takes. You know, he's just gotta pick up a victory at some point. And Anthony, you know, he's very successful so far. And the match is underway, and David Studio running in with a huge super kick straight away. Now, David Studio hasn't competed since last season where he came up short to qualify for the Elimination Chamber. But David Studio, he's quick, he's strong, athletic, he's very resilient, can take a freaking beating like no one else. And now, Anthony's got him locked into a little bit of a submission, but David Studio fights out of it, looking for a super kick, but Anthony comes flying in with a clothesline. And you gotta think, Anthony's probably a bit annoyed here that he didn't walk out with the World Championship, you know, last season, so he's gonna try to make up for that and try to win the tag titles this season. As David Studio flying cross-body shot out of the corner right there, folks. Now he's gonna pick up Anthony, and what is he gonna look for here? Sizing him up, looking to Irish whip him, but Anthony counters into the corner, and again, David Studio fighting out of the corner. David Studio understands tag team wrestling pretty well. You don't want to be caught in the opponent's corner. It will not go well for you. It's a big flying crossbody into the corner, and now ducks the clothesline, and diving like headbutt right there. And David Studio using his quickness now, looking for a headbutt. Ooh, but Anthony manages to move, and David Studio rocking himself a little bit from that. And again, Anthony's got him in the corner, and again, David Studio fights out a big super kick right there. And now he's got a hold of Ian. What is he gonna look for here? Bringing him in the hard way, dropping him. But he gets caught from behind from Anthony. Again, trying to take 2-on-1, not a very smart decision, as that was an atomic drop. And man, look at that, Anthony hooking the arms and tossed him overhead with a belly-to-belly suplex. Referee out of position there. David Studio kicked out before a count of 1. And now, Anthony is fighting back. Ooh! And now let's go for a tag, and Joe Hendry is in. Joe Hendry is in for the first time in this matchup, and a big discus clothesline. It's going to be interesting to see how Joe Hendry does here as he hits a nice elbow to the small of the back. And what is he going to look for here? Big uppercut from Joe Hendry. Big knee to the gut. And now what is he going to look for here? And now Joe Hendry with a nice gut-wrench suplex. Good stuff from Joe Hendry so far as he's making his presence known. And now, what are we going to see here? Joe Hendry whipping Anthony into the corner. We got some double-team offense from David Studio and Joe Hendry, and you saw it. Joe Hendry held him there for David Studio, and there's a big super kick again. And now, he's looking to stomp. No, Anthony manages to fight out. And now, what is he going to do here? Big German suplex. And you saw that German suplex. He tossed him overhead, and now he's tagged out to Ian, which is very understandable now. And Ian looking for a senton, misses. Ducks the super kick. What is he gonna look for here? Anthony bringing him to the ground and just pouncing on him, dude. Fist and fire. And now, what is he gonna do here? Slamming David Studio's arm down. And now looking to pick him up. What is he gonna do here? And now, oh, into the corner again, and David Studio in the enemy corner, and again, fights out of the elbow shot, and he just launches Ian there with like a bounce. Nice stuff. And now a senton of his own. And now, what is David Studio going to do here? And he manages to get up and tag out. Joe Hendry is back in. And Joe Hendry with a headlock takedown, and he's holding the headlock now. Joe Hendry using his very much big background here. And now, ooh, but Ian caught him with a big kick to the skull right there. And now, Ian, big shot to the back right there. Joe Hendry had the advantage. Maybe got a little overzealous though. And now he's whipped into the corner, and now Joe Hendry, man, and you see, you know, the Hitmakers are doing a good job of not allowing Smosh to do their double team offense. So there's a big clothesline right there. And now, what is Ian gonna do here? Whips Joe Hendry into the corner. And they finally get some tag team offense in now. And now, oh, and a nice fireman's carry takeover there. They finally got a big tag team move in here. And what is, oh, and Anthony maybe looking for like a neck breaker there, but Joe Hendry rolls out of the way and clothesline to the back of the head. Now, you know, Anthony with a dragon screw leg whip right there, my god. And now he slams his arm down. And Anthony now, I mean, seems to be controlling the match pretty well. And again, into the corner, Smosh, I mean, they keep trying to do their double team offense. I don't think it's going to work too much, as there's a big flying cross body from Joe Hendry. As now, he picks up Anthony. What is he going to look for here? And a nice cutter from Joe Hendry. Shades of Randy Orton with that RKO. And now he could be setting up for something here. What is Joe Hendry going to do here? Picks up Anthony. And now, can we see it? We're going to whip him into the corner. No, Anthony manages to fight out. And again, Joe Hendry fights out of the corner. I mean, Smosh just can't seem to get their double team offense in the way they want, as Joe Hendry gets taken down with a big clothesline. That's count of one, and oof, count of one there, but Joe Hendry manages to hang in there pretty well. And now, what is Anthony going to do here? Whipping Joe Hendry in the corner, and again, I don't think Smosh seemed to get it, as Joe Hendry fights out over clothesline and tag to David Studio. Ian got tagged in, and oh, David Studio trying to get his offense in, but Anthony blocking him, as you saw there. And that's just the tag team experience of Ian and Anthony. They know how to work so well together that Anthony used his body to block David Studio from getting his offense in. It's now whip off the ropes right there and look for something to shot to the gun, but David Studio, big elbow to the head, fights out of it. Flying twisting elbow, it seems. And now going to the corner for something, but he got a little too close. Anthony struck him hard in the face. And there's a big throat chop right there, and knocks Anthony off the apron. Still, you gotta give credit where credit is due. David Studio out to the outside, running up the ropes. Ian just doesn't seem to know what to do. And David Studio with like a flying headbutt there. The very unorthodox offense of David Studio, man. You never know what he's gonna pull out of his hat. And the referee getting in the way there. Ian ducks the clothesline. You saw it there, folks. Ref got in the way, preventing David Studio from getting Ian to his corner. Big super kick right there. And now, what is David Studio gonna look for here? He's going to the top rope. I don't know how wise this is. And now, he's signaling for something. He just flies at Ian with a headbutt from a standing position. Like, what? This offense from David Studio is so unique as he hits a leaping headbutt, busting Ian wide open, man. And now, what is David Studio gonna do here? Oh, whips in a corner. And Joe Hendry gonna pull him down here. Now, Joe Hendry drops Ian face first onto the apron there. You see Joe Hendry helping out any way that he possibly can. And David Studio taking the time to taunt, catch his breath, as Joe Hendry sends Ian back in for him. And now, what could David Studio be looking for here? Oh, he's looking for like a clothesline. He manages to catch a super kick as Ian rolled out of the way. And now, big throat chop right there. Another throat chop. A super kick. No, Ian manages to catch it this time. And now Ian turns him around. And David Studio backs up with and then hits that flying twisting elbow again. And now, what is David Studio doing here? Looking to pop up for the moonsault. No! Ian moved out of the way, man. David Studio, it looked for a second like he actually had that. But no, Ian strikes him in the corner. And now, Smosh could be looking for their tag team finish here. They could be looking for that elbow drop, neck breaker, back breaker combo like maneuver, and they hit it. Here, and Smosh, could they be advancing to the next round? 1, 2, and David Studio manages to kick out. Joe Hendry, I don't think would have made it in time, as Joe Hendry took out the ref trying to help anyway. But David Studio still managing to hang in there. And now Ian looking for a power. Anthony, looking for a powerbomb, but no, David Studio fights out of it again. And now what's he gonna look for here? There it is, an Impaler DDT. Impaler DDT. And now he runs up the ropes with a Whisper in the Wind senton right there. Just adding insult to injury. And now knocking Ian off the apron with a shoulder tackle. And now going for the cover here. And the referee moving really slow after Joe Hendry drilled him in the back and allowed Anthony to kick out at a count of 1. A count of 1, people. Man, it's not looking too good. And now they were looking for a double team offense. No, Anthony looked for a drop kick and a tag. Joe Hendry is back in, and nice flying cross body. And now, basement slide drop kick to Ian, looking to jump on him, but Anthony comes from behind here. Again, I don't think going after the upper tag team guy is the best idea when you're in the ring. And now, Joe Hendry gonna crawl into the corner, and now Anthony comes in. He'll stomp to the gut. Joe Hendry, you saw it pop up, trying to fight back. No, big knee lift right there. And now, Joe Hendry, he gets caught into that slam again, and it seems that Smosh just seemed to have a little bit of the upper hand here. Joe Hendry to his feet, moving out of the way, forcing Anthony to get off the top rope. Kicks the gut, and again, Joe Hendry just can't seem to rally his offense right now. And now, whipped into the corner again. Joe Hendry fighting with everything he's got out of the corner. And Anthony striking the legs right now. You see it striking that hamstring, big flying forearm shot right there. It is what it is, it seems. Joe Hendry needs to tag out David Studio. He manages to catch him. Big hip toss, drops the knee into the face right now. Joe Hendry managing to pick up some more offense. And now Joe Hendry, what's he gonna do here? He whips him into the corner here. And now, could we be seeing something here? No! Anthony fights out yet again. We got a kick to the gut for his trouble. And Joe Hendry, slides him around. Nice. Like a front suplex like maneuver right there. Just dropped him down. And Joe Hendry could be looking for a standing ovation, but no. Anthony fights out with an elbow drop there and a big shoulder tackle. Joe Hendry tried to pop a standing ovation out of nowhere, but it just didn't seem to work. And now, they're looking to put Joe Hendry away, but no. Fights out of the corner with another cross body. Now Joe Hendry, he could be setting up for something here. What can Joe Hendry be looking for? He runs in with a nice neck breaker right there. And now, he's calling Anthony to get back to his feet now. And now, what is he gonna do here? Whipping him out of the ring. Nope. Anthony hung on. Got a knee to the gut. Nope. And now, Anthony thrown to the outside here. Joe Hendry, big punch to the head. Big drop kick from Joe Hendry. And now Joe Hendry gonna go to the top rope. Looking for a splash, but no! No, Anthony just managed to move out of the way, and now he stomps his head in for his troubles, man. And a nice standing shooting star right there from Anthony. It just seems to be happening now. Joe Hendry got a little overzealous here, but wait a minute. David Studio pops off the apron, throws him into the ring, and now they're both getting up now. I think David Studio managed to just give Joe Hendry the time he needs as Joe Hendry runs to the tag. David Studio's in as he hits that corkscrew elbow shot again. David Studio managed to just buy Joe Hendry the time he needed as he hits a leaping headbutt onto Anthony right now. Joe Hendry, that tag was crucial, and there's a pop-up Samoan drop from David Studio into the cover. 1, 2, and that's 3! Wow! Dude, what the heck? What a surprise upset for the Hitmakers. Joe Hendry, David Studio, they actually won. Wow. That's actually quite impressive. Brand new team just being formed up here, and it just so happened that they picked up the victory. A big upset victory. I mean, I honestly thought Smosh were going to be the ones to go through with it, but I guess not. You know, PWS is always full of surprises, so you never know what's going to happen next. Anyway, with that being said, what a matchup, folks, and I will catch you all in the next one.